Welcome, it's Troglodyte Freebird bringing you a game review of Aaru's Awakening for Windows, Mac, and Linux operating systems. It's also available on PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4, and at the moment it's free for PlayStation Plus members. Also, this will be a game review of the PlayStation 3 version of the game, but I'll be showing gameplay of the PC version, mainly because I don't have any sort of capture card or anything like that for the PlayStation 3 version. Speaking of the PlayStation 3 version, it's actually surprisingly good in terms of control. It's very easy to control, although people seem to find the mouse to be better, of course, myself included. The PlayStation 3 controls are more than adequate for the game that it is, which may surprise some people, but, you know, it's really well done, in my opinion. Now, one of the first things that you'll notice about Aaru's Awakening is the presentation of the story. It's made by an indie developer, so it's understandable, but there's definitely some really bad voice acting. It does bring down the presentation of the story, although the story is definitely not the forefront of this game, and that's a good thing, because what this game does well, it does very well. And what it does well is NES and SNES type of gameplay, where it's based on trial and error, and it's based on your skill and experience of the game. In fact, this title actually sort of reminded me of a Ninja Gaiden without any actual ninja skills type of thing, without parkouring or anything like that, but instead with abilities that allow you to teleport, allow you to kill enemies with the teleport, and of course the regular jump with a sort of boost jump that goes along with it. So that's really what the gameplay is in terms of what you can control, and overall this is definitely a platform puzzle game. It's pretty good too. If you screw up, which you probably will very many times, it's not so, it doesn't make you want to enrage, really. It's sort of like back in with the NES and SNES games, you know. You die a bunch, but you eventually, through trial and error, learn how the puzzle works, how you're supposed to do it, and then it's based on your own execution, which, like I said, the controls are really good, for PlayStation 3 at least, so it's not really difficult to get the execution down. It's difficult to master, I'm sure. You know, I'm not really a speedrunner of this game or anything like that, but I'm sure it probably is very difficult to master, you know, getting short times and stuff, but those aren't really required. They're just, you know, bragging rights types of things. No, the main focus of this game instead is simply beating through every level, and that is very difficult, but no matter what you come across, you know that it's reasonably achievable. Now, how it's reasonably achievable, you have to figure that part out. This game doesn't really hold hands much, which a lot of people like, a lot of people don't like, and in all honesty, it's fine. I do think that this game is reasonable in how difficult it is. It's not way too difficult. It doesn't require too much of you, even on the PlayStation 3 version. It's a good game, though, overall. The art style also is very good. It's very interesting. It's something that you don't really see much in games. You do see the, you know, lower resolution looking type of games, but you don't see it in this presentation. Normally when you see a low art, I guess you could say, low graphics type of game, usually it's something along the lines of Minecraft, something that's more blocky. This is definitely more artsy, in my opinion, and it definitely looks really good, even if it's not, you know, super graphically demanding. The art style is just really, really well done. However, there are some art design choices I don't really agree with, and I'm not the only one. Every once in a while you'll find that in levels, the background and the foreground tend to sort of mix at times, making it difficult to platform correctly in some ways. It's not a huge big of a deal, because it's not like you'll just die over and over and over and over again to it. You know, once you find out, oh, that's not the platform I thought it was, then the next time, you know, you'll know that. But it is an issue, and you do come across it every once in a while. One thing that I have to say about it being a modern game, but with the style of, well, in gameplay, the style of older games, is that it's tougher to get into. It took me about, I don't know, probably a good hour and a half, maybe 2 hours to actually start really enjoying it. But then again, that's sort of the same thing with if you went back to NES games or SNES games. Unless you're super familiar with it, they're tough to get into as well. But this is a modern game. This isn't a NES game. This isn't a SNES game. This is a modern game, and it should be mentioned that it is somewhat tough to get into at first. But once you can get into it, once you realize really how it works, and once you realize just how satisfying it really is when you overcome ridiculously difficult puzzles, that's when you realize that this is really quite the gem, and a quite underrated game in my opinion. Aaru's Awakening is a really good game. I do think it deserves a lot more attention, and primarily because of the gameplay. It's definitely a very, very satisfying game once you can manage to actually solve these puzzles and, you know, get into it. It's almost easy to get in just a zen state, trying to get the puzzles to work the way that you want them to. It's really satisfying once you finally do as well. And so for that, I do believe that this game deserves a pretty high rating, especially since it's a very cheap game, an indie game, a free game even if you have PS Plus. And I would give it a 4 out of 5. There definitely is a lot of room for improvement in many areas. However, most of it is covered. The gameplay is rock solid, and that's really what you want from this kind of game. So 4 out of 5, that's what I'm giving it. If you want to see more reviews, just say so in the comments section. This is the first review I've ever done, and this is my experience, of course. Keep in mind that not everyone's going to agree on things like this. If you had a bad time with the game, say so in the comments. I mean, it's just my experience. But if you do want more reviews, say so in the comments, and I'll see you next time.